Welcome to the first ever episode of the Noise and Visuals Asia Pacific Metalcore Hour podcast. This is the pilot episode, so make sure it's a little guerrilla, it's a little underground, it's a little rough around the edges. I promise you we're going to get a little bit better on the quality going forward, but it's better to release the content, I think, than to just have it rotting in the ether and focusing too much on perfectionism. So stay tuned. We will be upping the elevation of the production going forward. But my first guest is a promoter here in Tokyo. Her name is SADIE G. She's a promoter, she's a DJ, she's a friend of the Tokyo metalcore, emo core, everything scene. She is Tokyo's queen of emo. She has been living in Japan for quite a while. She's obviously from England. You'll hear it in the conversation. And we caught up to chat all things music, how she got into kind of emo music, getting into Tokyo, how she get into the scene, and just kind of our like discussions around the scene in general. So without further ado, this is the first ever episode of the Noise and Visuals Asia Pacific Metalcore Hour here on YouTube and on podcast. So let it go. Yes. This is why I kind of just wanted to like do the podcast. We just talk because it kind of, you know, I hate the podcast like, hi, I'm sitting here with da 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 da, because it's different. A podcast and an interview feels like really different. Yeah. Because like the best podcasts are where they're just having a conversation. Yeah. Like I can do the intro separately and just be like, hi, I'm here with SADIE G. Da 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 da. But yeah, so yeah, easy. And we're on Instagram Live, so come by. Here we go. I wonder who's going to tune in. Is there people already tuning in? That's hilarious. Anyway.
But yeah, thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming on to the first ever episode of the Noise and Visuals podcast, Core and Lore. Oh, whoa. Anyway, for those who don't know me, my name is Kayla. I am the founder of Noise and Visuals. I'll do a little intro at the start. I'll tell you a little bit more. And who am I with today?
Hi, I'm SADIE G.
Wait, look, the video is there, but we don't need to look at the phone. We got the microphones.
No, but it's my robotic friend.
It's your robotic friend. My Samsung, my broken Samsung, but that's fine.
Oh,
it's okay.
My screen is all broken, so
it's all good.
But yeah,
it comes with the territory of being in the mosh pit.
Yeah,
things get broken. I'm gonna say it got broken in the mosh pit where it didn't, but it's fine.
I've just been clumsy.
Hey, I had this phone for 3 years before I broke the screen. So
2 weeks.
Oh my god. Alrighty, so I feel like that's a good segue into SADIE G. Tell me about yourself.
Oh, so hey, I'm SADIE G. I'm from London, the UK. I've been living in Japan for 12 years almost. It's a long time, but it feels just like yesterday I just came. So.
What brought you to Japan originally?
Oh, it's a long, depressing story. Well, actually, I was coming with my ex-fiancé.
Yep. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, a bit of lore.
Oh, there's a lot of lore
the SADIE G lore.
But yeah, he wanted to move here, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like Japan too. Let's move together. So we decided to move. I moved first, and I was going to Japanese school for a bit.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got here, he kind of ghosted me.
Oh! He was like, get out of the country.
Yeah,
so I can break up with you. That's so, oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah. And then I had a choice of like, because I was living in Shizuoka.
Yeah.
It was either to move back to England or to move to Tokyo. And I was like, fuck it, let me move to Tokyo. Amazing. And I applied for a job and I got it. And well, I'm still here.
Wow. So how did you get involved in like the music scene here in Tokyo?
Even in England, I've been really into the emo, like screamo scene, pop punk scene, with like DJ nights and stuff, like Face Down, for example. And when I moved to Shizuoka, I'm so sorry, the scene was...
Oh, look, we love Shizuoka Amba. The bartender told me my septum piercing was cute, and I like died. She was so cute. Anyway.
I was in this small town, and there was one bar, and it was horrible. And no, and I spent all of my money coming to Tokyo. And then I would just go to rock bars here, and then I would meet like bands and stuff there. Yeah. And then one of them was like, oh, you should come to the show tomorrow. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. And I went to the show, and I met probably 12 or 15 people that are still my best friends to this day.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, 10 years ago. I told you I spoke about Sean and my friend Luther. Like, yeah, I met them. I lost my wallet and they helped me find it.
Oh, that's very nice.
missed the last train and they stayed with me.
The last train experience. I feel like that's such a Japan especially
only.
Tokyo, especially experience. Like, I've only missed last train once, but luckily I was staying in Sugamo, so I didn't have to. We were like hustling. We were hustling in the back streets of Shibuya, trying to get to Harajuku Station, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting in a cab.
Yeah,
it's too much.
Like a taxi to here is only like 1,000 something yen.
Oh, that's not too bad. So it was like 3,000 yen. It was not too bad. At that time, it was fine. I had like 2 more nights.
So, and when I started to go and see shows, people were like, "Oh, you can speak Japanese and English." So I started to do translation for bands, and like bands would ask me to do lyrics for them, and that's how I first started to get into band stuff here. And then again, I used to go to a lot of events and do a lot of events. I mean, I used to go to loads of events, but most of the events were DJ based. Yeah. But all of the DJs, no offense, all of them, guys. And I was like, oh, this is really weird. I want to like see alternative, cool women DJing. And every place I went to was just there wasn't emo. Emo wasn't a thing. Yeah. Here, it wasn't a thing here until like a few years ago. But there was no emo or metalcore scene. Well, there was the metalcore scene, but you had to be like really deep into it. Yeah. But there was no DJ events for that, like 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So I collaborated with this bar called Roku no Kokoro. It's called something else now, and I think it's different management now. But yeah, that's where I did my first ever SADIE G event. Yeah, I think it was called Fuck Valentine's. And it was on Valentine's Day. Love it. But it was still SADIE G. And it was like the first ever event. And it was like all female DJs. And it was like all alternative DJs. And it was really fun. I do find that a lot in the scene here, that there is a big disparity between genders here compared to like, say, Australia. Like, I mean, Australia too still has it can be a bit of a boys' club. But there seems to be a lot more of a movement now especially the hardcore scene in Australia. Do you find that in Japan as well? Yeah, I feel like as a foreigner here, I have a different, like people expect differently from me. Yeah. So I don't have the same expectations as like, for example, a Japanese woman. But there are certain expectations socially and like everything, which is still very hard on people. Even like the female singers, like from punk bands that I've known back in the day, as soon as they get pregnant, they drop out, stop playing music. Yeah. They just like stop it straight away. That's crazy. And the guys just continue going on. And it's like, why do you have to stop just because you're a mom? Like, there's this like social expectations of what you need to be. And it is just a phase in Japan. Like, it's really weird. I find that with a lot of scenes here, it feels like just a phase a lot. Because working in the dance scene, you'll see these kids come through that are like insane, like break dancers. Sorry for the word breakers, but breakers, whackers, crumpers, or whatever. And then they hit a certain age and then they just disappear. Yeah. And you're like, oh, shit. Okay. So you could only do that as a kid. You couldn't do it as an adult. It's because there's a time limit when, especially companies, they can only make money from you, especially in the Japanese like idol scene or the idol scene's a bit crazy here. Yeah, so they're not called Johnny's anymore, but back in the day it was Johnny's Junior, and it was like really bizarre, like being here when it was like the height of, hey, come and see this band of 12-year-olds. They're called Sexy Zone. Yeah. And then you got like the whole like graduation aspect of like the idol scene really throws me off. Like I was like, oh, they're graduating, and then they just like disappear forever. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, again, like it's the same expectation, especially for women. There's a time limit where you can be something, and they have this term in Japanese called Christmas cake. If you're 30, if you're 30 and not married, you're Christmas cake and no one wants you. Yeah, by the 30th. Yeah. Damn. Definitely really expired Christmas cake right now. No, I mean, so have you noticed a shift though in the last 10 years? Yeah, like so many bands with female singers now, female bassists, female just members now, and they're not young. They're like my age, and they've been like, for example, Moji Moon. I told you about them before. They've been in the scene for 15 years or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like they're a staple, though. They're like a go-to band. But her as a screamer and a growler is amazing, and she had to fight to like get noticed, you know, to get taken seriously.
Have you heard of Paramina?
The name.
So Paramina just went to. They won the Japan's Wacken Metal Battle, and they went over to perform in Wacken, and they entered the Battle of Bands in Wacken. Their guitarist, their 8-string gent guitarist, is a female. And she freaking rips.
Wow.
And like, you know, it is, I feel more common to see a female singer, female bass player. But to have a female guitarist, I was like, let's go. I don't know her age. I feel like she seems a little younger, but because I know one of her band members is like only early 20s as well. But I was really stoked to see a Japanese woman, like, and I mean, there are fully Japanese bands as well. Like, you've got Hanabi. The girls in Hanabi absolutely friggin' rip. And I feel like in terms of metalcore and core music, they are very much the more integrated in the scene. Like, I've seen them, they do songs like Seagate. A few other things coming out soon, I can't say. But yeah, a few other things there. And then there's like, even like bands like Love Bites, Bandmate, and everything like that are not part of that idol culture. So it's really good to see more women.
Because when I first started, I was like, oh, my age is a factor. I'm young and people don't take me seriously because of how young I was. And then the older I got, I was like, oh, no, it's because I'm a woman. Then no one's taking me serious because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then the whole thing where, oh, it's the way I dress too.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, I get it. But then I've become established now, so I have people will vouch for me. So I have like a reputation here, and you know, I had to fight hard to get like where I am now.
Well, even in the metalcore scene and the hardcore scene, seeing girls in the pit has been like a really interesting thing, because I will jump in the pit sometimes and people are like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and they try to protect me, and I'm like, bitch, go, move. And I saw this girl. She was at emo night last night too, but Gnosis, and she was throwing down, and I was like,
yes. I've seen her around.
She's good. She's tough. And I mean, maybe I don't go to a lot of hardcore shows as much as I do metalcore shows here.
I see her a lot at Anti-Knock.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And I think it's really cool to see more, like, because the Visual K scene is a little bit different as well. There's a lot of women fans.
Yeah.
But the, like, actual, like, throwing down in a hardcore pit, like, even, I think Prompts are really good at this too. They've got a lot of female fans. And I saw footage from one of their shows. There was, like, chicks in the pit, like, throwing down. And I was like, I mean, the pretty boys get the girls in, but these girls throw down. So I'm like, it's okay.
I'm not a pitter.
I'm not a pitter.
I'm not a
mosh pit.
I'm not a mosher, really. I'm more of a turn to my friend and go, lift me. I need to go up.
My body says stop, but my brain's like, this sick. Like, I was in Thailand and I went to Annalyn. And I don't think I've two-stepped in a pit for freaking ever. And they played like one of the older songs that has like a real two-step, and people were not two-stepping. And I was like, get the fuck out of the way! And so now it's like, I two-stepped for like 30 seconds. And I'm like, now I'm more of a protector in the pit, I think now. I throw down for a second and I'm like, I got kicked in the face way too many times as a teenager. So, yeah. But so obviously you said you started in the UK, you were pretty much involved in the scene too. What was the band that really pulled you into this sort of style of music?
I'm a pop punk girl.
Yeah, that's
heart,
okay,
so
that's okay.
I was obsessed with like Green Day, All American Rejects, Blink-182, and as soon as Tom DeLonge came out with Boxcar Racer.
Yes, Boxcar Racer.
Boxcar Racer introduced that like heavy bass and just like, I'm so mad. Ah! I was like, I relate to this. And that, because it was on this channel called MTV2, and it was on like this alternative hour. So they would play like Boxcar Racer, and I was like, oh, it's the Blink-182 guy. I want to go see it. Oh, let me listen. And I'm listening, and I'm like, whoa, this is like really heavy. And then after that, they play like other bands. But Boxcar Racer was a big influence for me when it came to like metalcore music in the mainstream. Like,
yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon.
I'll Bring Me the Horizon. Where in the UK are you from?
I'm from London.
London, so you're really from
East
London. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. So Camden Town, big influence. I went to sixth form there, so loads of drunk pictures of me.
Don't worry, we've all been there. We've all been there. So Bring Me the Horizon. So I feel like Bring Me the Horizon is a really interesting kind of, I would like maybe case study of like, you know, I remember them coming out because you're a little older than me, but not much. We're around the same era. Bring Me the Horizon for me still. Why don't you? It's all good. It's all good. It's okay. I said I'm in the same era too. To me, Bring Me the Horizon felt like a newer band, and they still feel kind of newer in my.
It's because they've been evolving. Like, they were part of the scene back in the day. Like,
that's
touring.
the thing.
I would go and see them for like £3.
Yeah,
the underground.
See, that's for me with Parkway Drive. I feel like maybe like, Parkway just blew up weirdly, but I've been going to Parkway Drive since 2005. So,
and. Yeah, they were always really new. They were very MySpace at the time, actually.
Yeah,
like very MySpace. And then like they kind of the audience. I'm not sure who grew. But we kind of grew at the same time. Like the audience grew and they grew up, and there's sound changes, and that's why it's always different.
Do you know what I think is really funny about Bring Me the Horizon is there was a whole trend on TikTok or whatever where it's like, because obviously their sound kind of became softer, and there's a bunch of dudes on TikTok who were like, ugh, and they showed their girlfriend old Bring Me the Horizon. I'm like, I remember Bring Me the Horizon always being popular with girls.
Yeah,
it's always been a girl band to me, like a girl band for the girlies.
Yeah, What's different?
That's what I mean. Like for me, it's like a lot of dudes that kind of go like they're trying to claim on the deathcore. Whereas like I remember dudes shitting on Bring Me the Horizon back years ago.
Ollie had like a throat problem, so that's why he couldn't scream for a while. And it's just like, it means it's basically your penis. Your penis doesn't work anymore.
Well, but even before he stopped screaming, it was always girls in Drop Dead.
Yeah, actually. Totally.
And always the really skinny emo dudes. It was always like the really effeminate emo dudes and girls who liked Bring Me the Horizon. So I think it's really interesting to see a lot of men claim
Is this recently? I think it's just
recently.
Oh, so they used to be skinny emo dudes, but now they're like dad bods.
No, but so these dudes are kind of, maybe, and they're kind of like trying to protect Bring the Horizon from their girlfriend. Oh my bro, like, it was always a girl band for me. Because
none of my friends like me. Yeah. None of my friends like the same music. I got not picked on, but like a bit of banter. A bit of banter. I used to play music in like, so I'm a carpenter.
Oh whoa! All right.
And back in London, I used to build the interiors for Urban Outfitters. And I had my own workshop and everything.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I'll be like woodworking and doing my like stuff, and then like be playing like Bring Me the Horizon or like Attack or something like really.
Oh, Attack! Jeez.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and people be like, your music shit as they're walking past, and I'll be like, I don't care, you're making more money than you. Yeah. But you know, and that's it. Like no one I knew like the same music as me. It wasn't until like these bi-monthly events like Face Down and stuff I would like go and be with the same people. Even in London, it was really hard to find people who were into the same things as me.
That's wild.
Yeah. But that's probably just because of my little bubble. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. What about when you came to Japan? What was the first band that you kind of, like Japanese band that you clinged onto or like kind of got to know?
Oh, I Kibo Vakiba.
Yeah, Kibo Vakiba.
Bloody love Kibo Vakiba. Like they're an otaku core band.
I love it.
So I think they have one song called My Personal Computer is Dead. Animation with You.
I love it.
And they'll have like these breakdowns and everything. And because one, I'm a big otaku, I'm a big geek.
Yeah.
And
we got the Evangelion.
Everything everywhere,
tribute,
as you can see.
Yeah, Sailor Moon.
But yeah, they just connected on all this thing as it was really fresh. I come to Japan and like I hear this band who I like their sounds, and also they have the same values as me, I guess.
That's it.
Yeah, and it was really cool. But I do have a story of when I met them the first time. Because they sing in English.
Yes. Which a lot of metalcore does sing.
Yeah.
By the way, for those on the podcast only recording, We're live on Instagram as well. There is a typhoon, so if you do hear some thunder and stuff in the background, that's what's happening.
So I met them, I think it was like, I came from Shizuoka and I went to watch them at Club Asia.
Oh, good old Club Asia.
And the singer, he always wears a mask when he plays, but he had it off and a cape. Anyway. Painting the picture.
Love it. I love it.
Painting the picture. But I went up to him because he sings in English.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I've been a fan since like England and I'm so glad I get to like finally meet you. And he was like, "Ego wa kannai?" And I'm like, which means I don't understand. I don't know English. And I'm like, but you speak in English. And this is when I didn't know Japanese. So it was like really awkward where he was just like, I'm like, He said, But yeah.
That's interesting, like the metalcore sphere here. Like you'll find that a lot of the metalcore, hardcore bands will sing in English. A lot of them, some of them have like ghost writers. Or just someone to help them with the English. Some of them can speak quite well, but they just like, obviously writing lyrics is a little different than just being able to speak. And I feel like now though, I feel like there's a lot more acceptance, more of like using Japanese in metalcore, which is super cool. I want to see it more. Like one thing I love about Gnosis is Ryo always uses kanji and Japanese for the song titles. So even if he's not singing in Japanese, it's always like yakusai, nariku, like all that sort of stuff. And I think that's really cool. I think we should embrace more different languages in... I feel like the world's ready for it a bit more though.
But I do feel like the bands here now all speak English anyway, even if it's just a little bit basic. But yeah, they were like, I don't know.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
What about now? So talking about bands now, who are you really intrigued by in the scene and would suggest for people to listen to?
Oh, well.
Even not just metalcore, but like everywhere.
I've been knee deep in the underground scene for a while. And there's like some bands that you hear and you're like, oh, I've never heard this before. This is a new sound. It might not be metalcore, it might not be hardcore, but it's like a sound that I really, really enjoy and a sound that I really connect with. And that's the Native Broadcast.
Native Broadcast, yes.
Native Broadcast, they've been like, every song that they sing is a different sound, but it connects with different things. And their stage performances are just like insane. Like Jay's voice range is...
Jay is one of the most interesting singers I've heard for a very long time. He's very, like, he's got such a diverse vocal range, and I think that really translates to the Native Broadcast music.
I know they were experimenting. They had a bassist before.
Oh, okay.
They now have just gone...
Japan has beef with bassists. There's not enough bassists.
Well, I'm right here, man. Like,
there's so many bands without bassists. And I'm like, but I also know bassists who are like the sickest bassists, like, you know, Daya from the cards I play. Insane. UG from DOJP. Insane. My friend SADIE G. Like...
But yeah, like I just love the sound. So this is how I heard them and how I met them. I was DJing at Ruby Room, I think at our town, and I was DJing, and then I finished, and I was like, oh, gonna take a cheeky konbini,
take a little konbini beverage. Beverage. It was tinny. Yeah. Aussies will understand too.
And I'm standing outside and I'm like drinking this can. And then I hear Until the Day I Die, like start play. Like, and I'm like, and the emo in me was just like, we have to run, Naruto run into the venue. And I go there and it's just like, it was them. It was the same, the drummer and Domi, the guitarist, and Jay. And I was like, I'm blown away. And they played the originals. They don't usually, they play like a few covers.
Yeah. The Linkin Park one's going off at the moment. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that is amazing. But also, I've had the... Excuse me.
That's so good. We're so good. We're doing some beverages today. We did a video before this, drinking some Japanese beverages.
Yes, and they're quite fizzy and carbonated. But I've been listening to a lot of SADIE JP.
Yes.
A lot of SADIE JP.
Interesting band. Really interesting.
Super technical.
Yes. Like, I want to go on a little tangent. Very interesting band because they are taking the sphere of metalcore into a new direction. They're really tapping into the whole new metalcore. When I say new metal, NU. There's like the Deftones-esque, the Korn-esque, that kind of thing. Because I feel like in a lot of metalcore music, we've kind of neglected certain sounds, and metalcore really... big storm. New metal really kind of like is celebrated, like bass and rhythm a bit more than I think metalcore does. And I feel like hearing that come back. Theo JP was just a really interesting band. And no bias, but
solid lineup though. Like every one of their shows are like... I don't see any, unless Yuji knocks someone out. Like I can't like put a dent or critique.
And I think even just watching them grow over the last year, listening to Liam's vocals, I think we are really gonna revisit Liam back in the next 5 years and see how he's going to technically grow, because he is still quite young. His clean vocals are insane, and I think, Liam, if you're listening, your confidence, fucking belt that shit, boy, because you can sing. But yeah, I think metalcore in itself is really, because metalcore, when it started, it felt like it tapped into a lot more like death metal.
Yeah.
So the riffs wise, because we all look at like Avenged Sevenfold, Black Veil Brides, that same sort of death metal riff. Now we're leaning more into a more new metal sphere, because obviously the age of the music we grew up listening to is a little bit different than the music that the bands before us grew up listening to. So there's a real more new metal sphere to it, and it's really translating through, and it's really interesting. I really am enjoying the current phase of metalcore, and I think Theo JP have kind of tapped into that without becoming cliche with that.
Yeah.
So Theo JP, guys, listen to that band, watch them. They're gonna
gonna see new things. Cool things with that. But those are the two bands that I'm like obsessed with right now. Also Fragments. Like I got introduced them via Theo. I just love looking at how bands interact on stage and how they can control the audience, and make it into not just a show, but it's like an event,
Yeah.
And that's what Nico does.
Nico's really good at that. I see Fragments, I've been working with them for a little longer now, and they actually were very instrumental in the return of Noise and Visuals. So they were my first interview back, and they gave us All Insane to play on the radio show and premiere it actually the day before it came out. So shout out to Fragments. And the first tour we media partnered with was Fragments. But seeing them live just is a whole new element to the band. I was very excited to actually see Nico in person. His vocal control is insane. The way he can like really just all insane. No pun intended. The way he's able to just like project and then stop and pull back and really throw his voice really is interesting. And I think I honestly can hear the Bring Me the Horizon influence a lot in Fragments. But I think, interesting band to really pay attention to as well. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to, and I like going to gigs. That's why we're gonna go today. I want to listen to some bands I've never heard before, and that's why I really enjoy going to shows.
Yeah,
see who I can steal to play at my event.
So what's coming up for SADIE G?
Well, we are on a comeback tour. So I'm in remission from skin cancer. Yes. So that's a comeback from that, and this is home tour because. Tokyo, this is my home.
This is your home, yes.
Volume 1. We're doing a lot of DJing recently, so it depends. I usually DJ. Burning Sandwich.
I love Burning Sandwich. Shout out. I love this dude. He is amazing.
Shout out dressed DJ.
The best dressed. We approached him for Harajuku Fashion Day. We were like, and then he gave me his like badge. And I was like, you're Burning Sandwich. Sick, bro.
But like his kind of esque, like this
his
is what
energy.
His energy. But like I kind of bring in drag. I lip sync to it, and I get really emotional too when I DJ. It's more of a performance for me.
Yeah.
So that's happening, and I'm working on my first single.
Ooh. Ooh,
I know,
exciting.
I haven't really told anyone.
Ooh. Exclusive. Noise and Visuals exclusive. SADIE G exclusive.
Yes. We have the name already. It's called Dynamite Proof, so that's what it's called. And hopefully by Christmas we'll have a music video. You're going to be here when we record it, so that will be really
Noise
awesome.
and Visuals exclusive, baby.
But yeah, first single happening. But a lot of touring and a lot of events. So I'm going to be DJing at another event called Anubis.
Okay.
Also a female run event.
Yes.
Yes, it's techno and hard rock, which is
Oh my God, that's my dream. That is my dream event.
Burning Sandwiches DJing.
As a Crossfaith fan,
it's
generally
so cool. Like the last event was like amazing, and I'm so fortunate to be involved in the next event and the Halloween event.
Yes.
So that's happening, and also Halloween with SGAF is my event page.
Yeah.
My event, SADIE G and Friends is what it's.
We will link everything when we put this podcast up. So.
But I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot of new things. I'm doing a lot of old things. I'm just trying to try new things, and continue doing the old, which I like.
Yeah. Well, obviously you like for those. If you would like to go a little bit into it, you can. If you do not, that's absolutely fine. But you've been through a lot recently, not just with the cancer and everything like that. How does it feel to be able to tap into that old school you and also bring in this new energy?
Well, the thing is, like, coming from a really abusive relationship, I'm never going to be the person that was before that relationship. Okay, and I know that now. I'm going to therapy. I'm going to a DV support group. Like, I'm doing all of these things to help me heal.
Yeah.
But I know I'm never going to be that person I was before. I'm never going to be that SADIE G ever. Does it make me sad? Yes. But what fuels me is, hey, I'm going to be a better person.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a fucking badass, but it's going to take time. I know I'm always smiles and jokes and like happy, but I'm still in the process of healing right now. And it's quite tough. But like I said, I'm surrounded by amazing community, which has had my back 100%. And I wouldn't be here doing this without them.
Brilliant. Yeah, so obviously your event's called SADIE G and Friends. Can you kind of go into that a little bit? Because I love the concept.
Well, well, it's because I'm SADIE G and I'm
SADIE G, bitch!
I'm surrounded by the most creative and amazing people, and I want to give them a platform. Yeah. Okay, I want to give them a platform. I want to give new artists. You don't have to be in a band. You can be a DJ. You can be a tattoo artist. You could do pottery. I'm still gonna host you if I find you interesting and if you support the same values as me. Safe space, just being an amazing human and want to support other people too. I'm going to host you. I will do my best to promote you if I feel we have the same values. And SADIE G came about where, I wanted to start doing events again. Yeah. I wanted to go back to the rock and roll SADIE G, Valentine's days. But I have a venue which I can have bands in now, because before it could only be acoustic. Yeah. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to have bands. And the whole community got together and I was like, yeah, I want to host not only really banging like Theo JP up there, fucking like established bands, but I want new bands, and that's what my events are. They're a mix of new, established, old, and like experimental, I guess I should say. And the last event we had Ghost Party, which was like fresh sound from Hunter and I think his name is Lucas. I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but a whole new sound, but. They were amazing.
They're fun. They were really good.
They're gonna play at Halloween, but it was a side project, and now it's like a main. Oh, Carlos, by the way, is the guitarist. I
love Carlos. Carlos is great.
Yeah, that hair. Anyway, love you,
Carlos.
But that's what I do. I want to be a platform, but the main thing is I want to be a safe space where artists from any walk of life feel safe to perform.
Do you think that's easy to find in Tokyo, or do you feel like that's kind of unique?
Well, no, because most events you have to pay to play.
Right.
You have to pay so much to play at a venue in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, my old band, when we played Anti-Knock, I had to pay, some yen or something? Which is a lot. And my event, SADIE G and Friends, SJF, at Cream, we don't ask bands to play. We ask, bring good vibes, bring friends. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Awesome. All right, we're going to wrap this up in a second. But first thing I want to ask is, what are your goals going forward?
I would love to do an outside of festival.
Like a Matsuri vibes.
SADIE G Fest.
SADIE G Fest.
Yeah, I want to do an outside festival, like a 2-day event where it's maybe collaborate with other with other cool people that I know that do these festivals. That's what I want to do. Again, my band is also going to be called SADIE G and Friends.
That's cool.
It's more going to be like a collective where people can come in and out and collaborate and work together. Maybe we won't have a set lineup. Just people supporting.
It's more like a project.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's a little more common these days. Like with bands, kind of obviously because people are so transient. Like for these, especially being in Tokyo, like with people coming in and out all the time. I think it's important though. I think it adds new elements and new vibes and new feels, like working with different artists. Like I don't feel like bands and musicians want to be as pigeonholed anymore.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I've worked on other projects and there's some projects where I'm like, oh, I would help. I don't want to. Don't tag me.
Don't tag me. I don't
that in the
part
nicest
of
way
this.
possible.
Yeah.
But, because I want to support my friends. But yeah, that's going forward. It's going to be more collaborative because I'm that bitch where I have to have everything under my control. Like I'm micro everything. I'm the only person who does any of the organization, the graphics, the posters, the promotion, all the social media. I do everything, and I'm sure you do it too. All of the merch I make
That's a lot.
by myself, and I also have a full-time job, and I volunteer, and I do all of this other stuff, as well as doing the other events.
Yeah.
And DJing and everything. But I do it because I like it. It brings me joy. It brings me happiness to support the community in any way I can. Yeah.
Awesome. So, last thing, anything you want to promote going forward? Halloween event?
Halloween event, if this is going to come out, thank you for reminding me.
This will be out this week, actually.
We are collaborating with Harajuku Fashion Day for our next SADIE G Halloween. SADIE G Volume 7 Halloween Part 2. Emo title right here.
That is full out boy song title.
But we're going to have 2 floors. Like I said, we're expanding.
Yes,
so we're going to have 2 floors this time. Costume contest, everything. It's going to be really, really cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's going to be fun.
And last thing, what is the most important values you have when you come to putting on events, working with bands, and what's something, if a band's going to come forward and want to work with you, what are the things that you hold the most dear?
Oh, that's really good. Community, a sense of community, respect.
Yeah.
Not just for me, but I'm queer, so they have to understand with me being that, what that comes with. You have to respect all walks of life, no matter where you're from, no matter your gender, no matter what you, so like, you just have to respect humans for being human. And if you cannot respect me or any other person, oh god, this will get
we get emotional.
I know.
It's all good.
But like,
that's what we're about here.
I want to have this sense of community, this sense of space, this sense of well-being and happiness and helping each other. And that's what I want other people to do. There's some bands you meet where they're like, nope, I just want you to do this. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I look through their Twitter and they post some like questionable stuff. And I'm like, oh, sorry, can't host you. I don't just say yes to everyone. You have to align with the SGAF values, I guess, which is just community, respect, and God, it sounds so hippie. Peace and love.
Honestly, though, I feel like that's hardcore values. Like, that's why Noise and Visuals, we cover metalcore and emo and post-hardcore and all that stuff. But really, the values of Noise and Visuals is hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, you're do a safe place, like safe space, we punch Nazis in the face. Like that kind of vibe. Like, you know, there's no space for that bigotry. So SADIE G and Friends sounds like a safe space in that kind of regard.
Yeah, I'm proud of how far we've come, and I'm looking forward to the future. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I think that's a perfect place to finish up. I'll do a proper outro. Okay. So it's fun. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on the first ever episode of Core and Lore. This is Noise and Visuals. It's Kayla here with SADIE G. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in on Instagram as well. I see, I cannot read your name.
Oh, they're a really cool Filipino.
Filipinos, so they support a lot of Filipino artists coming in and out of Tokyo and abroad. So make sure you follow. I have contact lenses in Fintech Productions. So shouts out to you guys. They're going to have a really cool like event, hip hop event coming up soon. So if you're into that, they just
had one too.
Yes,
but they're going to have another.
Yeah, they have another one coming up.
Live tattooing. I might get
live tattooing. That's it. Tattooing, hip hop, and all that sort of stuff. So shout out to those guys. I'm going to sign off on the podcast.
Okay, I need to.
You're in charge of the live. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, please take the mic to the toilet. Thank you for listening to the first ever episode or the pilot episode of the Noise and Visuals Asia Pacific Medical Hour podcast. We'll be back once a fortnight with new episodes. They may not always have guests, but there will always be something interesting in discussion around the Asia Pacific metalcore scene, from industry leaders, from bands, musicians, to just anyone who's involved in the community. So make sure you support. You can follow along. Make sure you follow along SADIE. Everything we have for her is in the links in the description. And thank you so much again, SADIE, for being on this first ever pilot. And for those who are listening and for those who want to get involved, we'll see you in the pit. Make sure you follow everything Noise and Visuals going forward.